Welcome to Everyday Cooking with Ann. Today we're going to make my very special cookie that I get a lot of requests for, and it's called orange cream chip cookies. You'll see the recipe on the below the video under Show Me More. Today I'm going to share with you probably my favorite cookie recipe, and it's requested over and over again because it's very special and it's different. As a matter of fact, I taught English in China for a year, and I was invited to be on a Food Network program for 9 million people in China. I had my assistant translating for me, and I showed the Chinese people how to make this cookie as one of my featured cookies that I shared. So I want to share it with you too, because I'm going to use it this month on my cookie platter to give away to people for the holidays. So that's how special it is. I pick the very best of what I make that's going to be unique and different, and this is one of those cookies. And the best thing about it is very simple to make. Okay, let me show you what the ingredients are for this cookie. And you know how much I love citrus, so we are going to have oranges, a little bit of orange juice and orange zest, and I've used my zester to get this all prepared. It's only going to have flour and salt. There's no leavening like baking powder or baking soda in it, just the salt and the flour. Okay, the three kind of moist ingredients that we're going to be putting in is a half of a 8-ounce package of cream cheese. I cut it in half for the frosting and half for inside the cookie. I've got half a cup of shortening. Now I have substituted butter for the shortening, and you can do that too as well, but I'm following the recipe like we have it in the book right now. It's in my cookbook as well. Half a cup of butter, so half a cup of shortening, half a cup of butter. This is 4 ounces of cream cheese, which is basically half a cup. And I've got 2 eggs that are going in it, and I will put in a cup of sugar. And I'll also be adding chocolate chip, little miniature chocolate chips as well to put in. Okay, so let's get started, and we'll be making the frosting a little bit later after the cookies have already baked and cooled. And that's basically going to be a powdered sugar and cream cheese and a little bit of zest and orange juice as well. So let's get started. See how simple it is, very few ingredients, and I'm gonna go ahead and add into my flour mixture the half a teaspoon of salt. And that's basically all you need in the flour mixture, just salt and flour. This has 2 1/4 cups of flour. But first of all, we're going to start off by putting in the cream cheese, the half a cup of shortening, and a half a cup of butter. And I'm going to grab my beater. Also the 1 cup of sugar. And I'm going to cream these together like you would if you're a cookie maker. You know, you cream these things together first before you add the eggs. So I'm going to just get this started. It's all been creamed together, those 3 ingredients and the sugar. And then I'm just going to put 2 eggs in as well. And I'll start machine up again and get that all mixed together as well. Okay, you may need to clean off the sides here so that it gets totally mixed in. Now usually I double this recipe. I'm not doing that today. I'm making it exactly as it is in the recipe. But trust me, if you're going to feed this to anybody you love, you're going to want to double the recipe. Okay, inside here now I'm going to go ahead and put like half of my zest in here, and then I'm going to put the other half in the frosting. And I've used I've used 2 oranges. And this one hasn't been completely zested yet, but I've done the other one, so I'll put a little bit more in the frosting as well. Next, I'm going to slowly add my flour. I've added the flour in here. Now we're just going to add this is 6 ounces of chocolate chips. Basically, it's a 3/4 cup. It's 6 ounces. I'm adding these chips to it. You can add mini chocolate chips or regular chocolate chips. Okay, so that did not take very long to mix up. Okay, this is the cookie dough right here. I love orange and chocolate together. It really is an amazing Christmas thing. If you've ever grown up with Christmas oranges, the chocolate orange before, and have it in your stocking, and how great and awesome this is, this reminds me of it because it's like chocolate and orange citrus together. It's awesome. Okay, this is going to make 15 cookies right here, and I love this cookie scoop. It's really, really, really good, and it makes really uniform cookies, and I use it I think I got this from Pampered Chef, but if you can find one, this is just a really high quality one. I've been using it for years, and having uniform cookies really does make a difference in presentation and how it looks. So here we go. I've put my oven on to 350 degrees. And depending on your oven, this takes about 12 minutes. You're not going to see this cookie flatten out like a chocolate chip cookie or some other kind of cookie. It's going to stay pretty much this same size, a little bit cooked. So it's a very shortbreadish kind of cookie, creamy and shortbreadish. So we'll check it about 12 minutes to see how they're looking, and then we'll go from there. You want to see a little bit of browning around the edges, so we'll check in 12 minutes. This is my juiced fresh orange juice, and to be very honest, I just realized I forgot to put this in my cookie dough. It's not going to make a really big difference because I'm also going to be putting a frosting on top that I'm going to teach you how to make right now. So usually 2 teaspoons to, a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. I put about a tablespoon of this in my dough and mix it into, and I forgot to show you that, and I think I did put the zest in, but I forgot the orange juice. So keep that in mind when you read the recipe. You're going to put that in as well. So this is the other half of the cream cheese. I'm just going to beat this up a little bit till it's nice and creamy. There's no need to put this in the KitchenAid because it's just going to take up just a very little space, and you can do this by hand just as easily. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this at a time. This is 2 cups of powdered sugar. And I'm going to add a little bit of this at a time. You're going to be putting about a tablespoon of this in. And you're going to want to put the rest of this in too. Do you get to kind of the right consistency, about 2 or 3 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more because I'm going to be putting more powdered sugar in. You can see I'm not really measuring this. I'm doing it by feel and just the consistency that I want it to be. So I'm going to be adding a little bit more orange juice because you don't want this too thick. And you don't want it to be a drizzle like a glaze. You want it to be a real frosting. Okay, I'm going to fit a little bit more of this in here. And if you find it's too much, just add a little bit more powdered sugar. Okay, I'm going to beat this by hand here. Now you're not going to add this frosting until your cookies have cooled, so this will be sitting and waiting. And that's about the consistency you want. Right there. Okay, at my 350 degree oven, and I do have a convection oven, I finally left these in for about 15 minutes. Now they look almost the same as when I put them in because they just flattened out a little bit. But you can see around the edges, they have a little bit of browning around the edges, and that's how you want them to look. A little bit of browning around here. You could probably even have kept them maybe in another minute. So when it says 12 minutes, maybe your oven runs a little bit hot. I guess mine didn't for this cookie for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on my tray to cool, and then I'm going to frost them, and then I'm going to show you the final result in our next segment. Okay, the cookies have cooled and the frosting's already been made. It's got lots of orange zest in it. You can see the big flecks of orange zest in here, so I put extra in there because it just gives so much extra flavor. Now, remember these cookies when we brought them out of the oven? You know, they were very, very soft and looked like they were going to harden up, but they're nice and crispy right now. This is how they look around the edges and underneath, so you don't want to overdo these thinking, oh, they don't look done. So I did them up to 14 minutes, 12 minutes, so you decide in your oven, you just want to make sure you don't overbake them thinking they don't look done, because they are done. And now that they've cooled, they're totally not going to fall apart. They're not a soft cookie, they're a nice crunchy cookie. Okay, so we're frosting, and what you want to do is make sure that you put plenty of frosting on here. This is like the best cookie because you're going to be very generous with your frosting here. And these frosted cookies need to cool until the frosting has hardened, and then you can either layer them in a plastic container or something like that. You can put them in the freezer and they'll stay great for when you're ready to serve. I'm making these cookies to be part of my Christmas platter of cookies that I share with friends and neighbors. So I hope you'll choose to make these cookies because so many people have told them this their favorite cookie too.